I'm Perrin Alford, the Provost at West Georgia Technical College here in LaGrange. This morning we'll be speaking to two instructors, Miss Golda Brown, who is our cosmetology instructor, and Miss Ginger Dennis, who is our accounting instructor. We'll be right back. I'm Perrin Alford, the Provost at West Georgia Technical College here in LaGrange, Georgia. Thanks for joining us on Technically Speaking, and this morning we are going to talk to Ginger Dennis. Miss Dennis is the program instructor for the accounting program at the college. So Ginger, as we always do before we get started, I let the instructor tell our viewing audience a little bit about themselves, so if they need to contact you or if they come on campus, they'll kind of be familiar with you and what your background is and how you ended up at West Georgia Technical College. Kind of, briefly give us a couple-minute little rundown of how you ended up at West Georgia Tech and if you enjoy your job or not. So
sure,
go ahead and tell us a little bit about Ginger.
Okay. I came from industry. I worked in industry in the accounting field. I started out actually with bookkeeping. And I enjoyed it so much that I went back and I had a computer science degree, so I went back and got my accounting degree and went on and got my MBA and then my CPA license. And so I moved on up and became a controller, and then
and what does a controller mean? Because for people out there who might not understand the business world, what does controller mean?
Controller is one of the top positions in a company, and it's for private companies. You have public accounting and you have private accounting. So controllers actually keep up with the financial information in a company, and typically a controller will have some people reporting to them. Does that make sense?
It does, but I guess at the end of the day, if you were talking to me, I'd still go controller. So that means like you're over all the budgets, you're keeping up with all the budgets. At the end of the day, you need to be the person that can tell the CEO of the company we're either doing good or we're doing bad. So you're like the head bookkeeper.
Yes, kind of.
But way more than that.
Yes, that's exactly.
Okay. And the folks watching might not be that familiar with CPA. That's an acronym. Tell people what CPA stands for.
Okay, it's a Certified Public Accountant, and you have to sit for 4 parts of an exam. Okay. And so it's auditing, financial reporting, business law, and also taxes. So you have to pass all 4 parts, and it's a 2-day exam. So you become licensed in your particular state, and I'm licensed in the state of Alabama.
Okay, and is that an easy exam? Did you just breeze in there and take that and just, is that the easiest thing you've ever done in your life?
Oh, no. I studied for a while for that. You can't just go to school and go sit for the CPA exam. You have to really study hard. Right. So yes, no, I didn't go just sit the exam, pass.
Right.
It was strenuous.
Yeah, and I said all that to say this, that I think it's important for our viewing audience to really understand, and I hope we're in a light-hearted way here. I hope that we've kind of made them understand that West Georgia Technical College is a great place, first off.
Oh, yes,
have a lot of great programs that are needed to teach the people in our audience the skills they need to go out and get a good job. That's first off. But second off, even if we have the curriculum and we don't have qualified instructors who really know what they're doing, all we've got is pretty good curriculum, some books, and a building. So it all ties back to the instructor, is what I'm trying to say here. I'm going all around the block to say this, but it really ties back to the instructor, and West Georgia Tech is very lucky to have a state certified public accountant teaching our students the accounting principles. So I think a lot of times people might not really understand the level of academic rigor there is at West Georgia Tech, nor perhaps do they understand the level of instructors that we have at West Georgia Tech. CPAs, MBAs, the majority of the faculty at West Georgia Tech have at least master's degrees in the field that they're teaching information to the students. And so I guess I just want to leave this little bit of information with West Georgia Tech is a great place, have great curriculums in place to help our students learn what they need to learn, but more importantly, boy, do we have great faculty and staff at West Georgia Tech.
I agree with that.
Good.
Not
Well,
just me, but all the
Well,
instructors.
this morning you're one of my great examples. Let's briefly talk a few minutes about your program. Tell the viewing audience, do you have a certificate? Do you have a diploma? Do you have an associate degree? How long does it take to enter a program before you graduate? Everything that, let's say a student just walked in your office and said, Ms. Dennis, tell me about the program and should I be an accounting student? What would you tell them?
Yes, we actually have the associate's degree, which is 67 semester credit hours. The student can complete that in usually 5 to 6 semesters. And then we have the diploma, which is 42 semester credit hours, and a full-time student could complete that in 4 to 5 semesters. And then we have the certificate, which the student, it's 14 semester credit hours, and they can complete that in 2 semesters.
Okay. For the person, let's say, which I do, by the way, have a graduating high school senior, and they think they want to get into some type of bookkeeping, they like numbers, they like math, and they come see you. Would you suggest they start in that certificate and then go into the diploma, or is the certificate enough, or do they got to have the associate degree? I mean, talk a little bit about that.
If they're getting financial aid in the state of Georgia, usually they have to start at the diploma level or the certificate level. Right. The certificate is more for someone that is already in the job market, just wants to update their skills. Maybe they'll be promotable in their current position. Okay. So the diploma is where I recommend the student starting and then move into the degree. Most of the time, employers do want the student to have an associate's degree.
Okay. Tell us about right now the field of bookkeeping, accounting. You know, we continually hear the gloom and doom. Oh, there's no jobs. X amount of people are unemployed. Nobody is wanting to help anybody, nobody's wanting to give anybody a shot, and all this kind of gloom and doom kind of stuff. At West Georgia Tech, I know that's not true, because part of my job is to make sure that our students graduate and get jobs. Mm-hmm. And I know there's jobs out there. I talk to Department of Labor folks on a weekly basis, and they continually tell me, Perrin, there's plenty of jobs out there. So I said all that to just ask you this question. Are there jobs available out there right now if a student were to come to West Georgia Tech, get that diploma, leave you, start looking for a job out in this community? Are there jobs out there?
Yes, it sure is. All businesses require accounting personnel. So there's always been accounting jobs. Of course, the best students are going to be more likely hired first. But there are jobs out there. There was a recent study of employers that are planning to hire, 52% of them are planning to hire full-time accountants this year, 2012. So yes, the jobs are out there. Okay.
Boy, that is so important, because I would never want to come on this show ever and try to give somebody, you know, the false impression that come to West Georgia Tech and boy, there's just a job tree out back and we're just going to pull a job off. But we can pretty much safely say from our contacts at the Department of Labor and you just being in the industry for X amount of years, there absolutely are jobs out there for our students.
Yes.
Very important. Tell us a little bit about, and I know this is kind of a fuzzy subject a little bit probably in accounting for sure, but tell us about the income potentials from, like, you know, certificate, diploma, starting level job to all the way up associate's degree and, you know, go out and get a job. What can they expect to salary-wise?
Okay. It's really a wide range for accounting positions. It starts at $20,000 for collections, lower level jobs up to $45,000. Right. The beauty of accounting, there is so many different directions you can go in. There's cost accountants, staff accountants, as I said earlier, controllers, CFOs, which usually for the higher level positions, you do want to go on and get a bachelor's degree after your associate's degree. But the salary range is very wide, and for accounts receivable, accounts payable clerks, it's usually around $30,000.
Okay.
Full charge bookkeepers.
Right. And you know, from my perspective, if a person is unemployed that'd be a tremendous gain if you're working a minimum wage job. Well, minimum wage, I think $7.25. Well, I don't know, somewhere close.
Yeah.
So that you're talking $16,000-$17,000. So if you're at a $17,000 job, come to see Miss Dennis. Put in your year and a half, whatever it would take. Using our semester system to get that job and go from 17,000 to 28 to 30 to 32, whatever. Boy, to me that is just a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you want to do that? So we encourage anyone and everyone listening to us this morning to really think about West Georgia Tech.
Yes.
Come out to West Georgia Tech. If accounting's not your thing, that's okay. We have over 100 certificate, diploma, and associate degree options available. So we like to say, at least I like to say, that there's something for everybody at West Georgia Tech. People would really be stunned, I think, at what all we offer. Now, let me also say this. In order to get in touch with us at West Georgia Tech, very easy to do. You can call us at 706-845-4323. Get us on the old traditional telephone. If you don't want to do the traditional way, well, you can always reach us on the World Wide Web. That's www.westgatech.edu. westgatech.edu. I guess as we conclude our discussion this morning, jobs available in the community. We have an unbelievably qualified instructor. I'm assuming CPA is the highest award in your field. Is there a doctor of CPA? Is there such a thing?
Well, you can get a doctorate of accountancy.
You
can.
Okay. Wow. that's a lot of knowledge with accounting right there.
Yeah,
if you go
it
that
is.
far.
Yeah.
So we have a CPA as your instructor, and she is ready, willing, and able to talk to you, to tell you all the good stuff associated with her program. All you got to do is go on the web, click under faculty and staff, and bring up Miss Dennis's picture, and I assume it's got a telephone number and email address.
Does.
So
yes.
You can get her on the web, you can get her on the telephone. Please consider accounting and letting Miss Dennis work with you to move you up and hopefully help you earn some more money in your career. A phenomenal career field with lots of jobs available right now today. We'll be right back and have another guest with us on Technically Speaking, Miss Olivia Brown, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the cosmetology program. So stick around.
You've got that ideal career in mind. Well, West Georgia Technical College specializes in preparing you for great careers. Call today and find out how we can help you fit education into your busy lifestyle. You've got that ideal career in mind. Well, West Georgia Technical College specializes in preparing you for great careers. Call today and find out how we can help you fit education into your busy lifestyle.
I'm Perrin Alford, Provost of West Georgia Technical College, and for the next few minutes we're going to be talking to Golda Brown, not Olivia Brown. I said Olivia earlier. It is Golda Brown. If you need management information, management supervisory, that is Olivia Brown. Golda Brown is the cosmetology instructor at West Georgia Tech. So as we get started, Miss Golda, I always ask our guests to pretend like a student's just walked in your office. Tell them a little bit about yourself, what your background is, how you got into cosmetology, why you got into cosmetology, all those kind of things, so that if a student were to call you or come see you, they'd know a little bit about Golda.
Well, I didn't start cosmetology straight out of high school. It was something that I always wanted to do but didn't. Of course, every little girl's dream is to play with Barbies, fix a little bit of hair.
Absolutely.
And so I did want to, but I didn't. I went to a traditional four-year college and actually was getting my degree in teaching. So I wanted to teach high school. So I kind of got to stay with that a little bit. But I went into the real world, so to speak, and got the MRS degree, got married young,
Right.
and went to work and had children and did what most mamas do.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, Mama got tired of taking care of everybody else and decided to do what Golda wanted to do, and that was to go to school and fulfill my dream of being a cosmetologist.
Now, I bet there's a lot of young ladies out there, and maybe not so young ladies, who are exactly in that boat. So
Exactly.
that's interesting that that's how you started off this segment.
Exactly.
So there must be thousands of people listening to you right now, sitting there going, well, wow, that kind of sounds like me. So, okay, continue on.
So after I started college at West Georgia Tech, I actually went to West Georgia Tech at the old campus and got my cosmetology diploma. Back then, it actually took a year and a half to complete just your cosmetology part. I already had my English and math where I had went to the 4-year college, but I needed the cosmetology part. Now it's only a year, so people can come in and out in my program in 1 year other than their core classes, which is fantastic to get them in and out and into the workforce.
Okay.
I finished that, and there was a job position at West Georgia Tech as an adjunct instructor, which is a part-time instructor. And since I had wanted to teach and my grades were such with cosmetology, I decided to give it a try. And here we are several years later, and I'm still with West Georgia Tech and absolutely love it. So I'm getting to do everything I want to do. They say that if you do what you love, you never work another day in your life, and so I guess I haven't worked in many years now.
Wow. And again, as we said last segment with Miss Dennis, just phenomenal instructors at West Georgia
Right.
Tech. We're so lucky that we found Miss Golda right here, because she's doing a phenomenal job, knows her stuff, helps the students. Students love her. Very hands-on teacher that really works with the students and does a great job. So very lucky to have the fantastic faculty that we have at West Georgia Tech. So tell us a little bit about your program. Is it a certificate, diploma, associate degree, all those kind of things? You know, how long does it take the average student to come in, start your program, graduate, all those kind of things?
Well, we actually, under our umbrella of cosmetology, we also have another program called Aesthetics,
Okay.
which deals primarily with skin. That is a certificate program, which normally takes about 2 semesters. We have barbering, which is also under the umbrella of cosmetology, and it takes about roughly a year. Cosmetology takes roughly a year. It is a diploma program. We do have a certificate in that, which is a shampoo tech certificate, and a lot of our dual enrollment students take advantage of shampoo tech and then move on to cosmetology.
And now, why is that important? Why would a high school senior want to even consider taking shampoo tech?
Shampoo tech's very important because you can walk into any salon, show them that you have a certificate where you have basically been trained the
Right.
proper way to shampoo and
Right.
what different shampoos there are. We all think that when you walk into your shower and you pick up shampoo that they're all the same, but they're not. And so we teach them to know the difference of what type hair needs what kind of shampoo.
Right.
And so it's very important, and it helps them with their job placement because it's a lot easier to hire somebody who has everything that they need.
Right. And also, it would seem to me, and I have 2 young men who are in high school, it would seem like anything like that, and I know shampoo tech is an example. I think CNA would be another great example of some dual enroll programs that we have, that sometimes it's better for a young person in high school to actually do something. They think that, oh, I just, nursing is an example. You know, I'd love to be a nurse, but once you get in there and you actually see what a nurse does day in and day out, well, then you sit there and go, I really don't want to be a nurse. So I would assume the same thing with shampoo tech. They might get in the salon or whatever and go, yeah, this really isn't what I want to do. So one, it's a great skill to just know, because it can help you get a job, but also it might help you transition into something you really like, and that's not what you really were drawn to. So dual enrollment is an interesting topic, and the pros of dual enrollment would do another show, but great example, and shampoo tech being a great example of a dual enrollment opportunity. Tell us about the job market. When people come to any type of higher educational institution, at least I'll speak for me, I went because I wanted to tie that to a diploma, degree, or whatever, and then I wanted to go take that and get a job.
Right.
So unless people just love Golda and want to show up just to be around you, your smiling, cheerful face, they want to do that as well, but they want to graduate and get a job.
Right.
Really is what they want.
Exactly.
So tell us about the job market. Are there plenty of jobs out there in cosmetology?
Well, actually, there are tons of jobs in cosmetology because basically, as long as there are people and as long as they have hair, which they do, then there will always be a need for us.
Right.
And if mama's not happy, nobody's happy. Basically, as well we all know, women are going to continue to go and get services no matter what the economical market is.
Right.
They're going to go still have services. They're going to still need their hair done. They're still going to need their color. We all want to age gracefully with no gray. So they're always going to continue to do that. As far as getting a job after you get your diploma with me or with West Georgia Tech, it all comes down to your ethics. Ethics is a very big deal in our market, especially. It's not only can you do it, but what your attitude is when you get out there. So there are jobs out there, whether it's a private salon or a franchise salon. So I've never had anyone have a problem getting a job because there are tons of jobs out there for people in our field.
And now it would seem to me that your area especially would be a great, well, one, you got to want to do hair. That's first off. That's a given. But second off, it would seem to me that cosmetology would be a very kind of unique thing to get into if you wanted to start your own business. Would you agree with that? Is that?
I do agree with that, but I do recommend to my students that they not jump off the deep end, so to speak, and want to open their own salon the minute they walk out.
Because and why would you tell them that?
Well, I tell them that simply because, number one, you got to learn what you're doing. Right. This job is one where you're constantly learning. Right. My first salon experience, I worked with a lady who owned her own business, and she was over 60 years old. And she had me a lot of good experience and a lot of good knowledge, and some of the knowledge was you're always learning in this business. So you can't walk out the minute that you start and know everything, because you don't. And you also need to build up your clientele, because your clients are your money. Because if you're not standing behind the chair, you're not making money. And so you need to be able to do that, and you need to learn what kind of products are out there. So there's a lot to know about cosmetology other than how to hold a pair of shears and how to cut a straight line. So they need to learn that before they jump off and go into debt with a business. And
you've already touched on this briefly, but give us a little bit more information. I know that you're over cosmetology, but there's also barbering. There's also something called aesthetics. Esthetician. Am I saying that correctly? Right. So tell us about those two. Are they certificates or are they diplomas as well?
Barbering is a diploma. Okay. It's a 1-year program, and that deals mainly, we think of barbering with men, but there are a lot of women who take advantage of barbering. The biggest difference between barbering and cosmetology is they use a straight razor without a guard, which can be a kind of scary experience sometimes. But they actually use a straight razor and we don't. And then also the aesthetics deals mainly with skin, deals more with salons that have spas involved, and also dermatology offices. They can go to work in a dermatologist office. So that's what aesthetics deals mainly with. It's only a certificate program, and it's a 6-month program, about 2 semesters, and they're finished. But that gives them a wide range of places to work besides just a salon and spa. They can go into dermatology.
And all of these areas, Cosmo, barbering, and esthetician, are all of these state licensed? Do all of these folks have to take and pass a state test? They
do. So they actually, with all of ours, they do have to go to state board, and they do have to pass a practical and a written test. So all of our students that finish with us, just because you have a diploma or your certificate does not mean that you can go to work. You must have a state license to do so. Okay,
now boy, that I have to ask this question. If you have to be trained, and if at the end of that training you're held accountable, and the accountability factor here is that that student has got to go take that state exam and pass it, or they can't work. How's your pass rate? Are we doing good? Can you get?
My pass rate's at 99%.
That's pretty daggum good.
Right.
If you work really hard, you can get it 100%. I suppose. Well, again, that just speaks to the great instruction that we have and the great instructor. It ties directly back to you and your folks who are helping you to do that. So, any kind of, well, I got to talk about this very quickly. We're running out of time. Tell us a little bit about live work. What does that mean at West Georgia Tech in cosmetology? Well,
our live work is a very phenomenal thing. We actually offer services to the public where they can come in and get work done just as they would a salon or a spa at a very very inexpensive rate.
Right.
For example, all of our services start at $2.
As opposed to how much, let's say I want to get a haircut, you're doing Mr. Alford, and I can tell you it's about $20 or whatever to get my haircut. Would you charge $20?
We would charge $6.
Okay.
If you want a shampoo, it's $2 extra, so it would be $8. And you're right, I did charge $20 for that at the salon.
Right.
So it's a much cheaper rate and less expensive. We won't use cheaper,
Right.
Less expensive rate. But it does give my students the opportunity to experience on live people,
Right.
someone with oxygen, as I tell them, versus a mannequin head.
Right.
And it also helps the public, and especially in these economic times, everybody's looking for a way to save money. So this is a great way for the public to save money, and it's also a great way for my students to get experience. But they do have a licensed person, which is myself or some of the other faculty
Right.
at West Georgia Tech, that is right there with them, so you're not going to leave with half your scalp,
Right.
you know,
very,
jacked up.
Right, very, very important. Even though we're helping the students learn by letting them work on a live person, there's professionally trained, state certified, if you will, instructors right there
Right,
with them.
exactly.
And so if a lady wants to have her hair dyed, we do that.
Hair color,
Hair
yes.
color. And if a lady just wants to have her hair cut, we do that.
Right.
And if a lady wants to have her hair permed or whatever, we do that.
We do. And another thing that people don't realize is with our aesthetics department, it is at night. Aesthetics incorporates our chemical peels and our microabrasions, things that ladies go to places like Chateau Elan
Right.
and get done that cost $300 and $400 that are normally about $15 at
Right.
the school.
Wow. Well, Golda, we have run out of time, and I hate that. We could keep talking for another 15 to 20 minutes easily with your program and what you have to offer. So if you're out there and you've never considered coming to West Georgia Tech to let the fine folks in cosmetology perhaps do some hair coloring or hair cutting or whatever, we do that. We also do that in automotive and several other areas where if you have a car that's having a problem, you can bring it to West Georgia Tech, and our automotive folks with a trained instructor will look at your vehicle and fix your vehicle for a much, much, much less of a cost than if you took it to the folks down the street. So
Right.
something for you to think about as well. So today we've talked to Ginger Dennis, head of accounting at West Georgia Tech. We've spoken to Golda Brown over our cosmetology program. Both phenomenal programs. Think about these two programs. If you have that interest and you want more information, you can always dial 706-845-4323. You can get us on the web at www.westgatech, so it's WESTGATECH.edu. Thanks for watching this morning, and we'll see you next time on Technically Speaking.
You've got that ideal career in mind. Well, West Georgia Technical College specializes in preparing you for great careers. Call today and find out how we can help you fit education into your busy lifestyle. You've got that ideal career in mind. Well, West Georgia Technical College specializes in preparing you for great careers. Call today and find out how we can help you fit education into your busy lifestyle.